Hey guys, Carlos Colon here with Georgia Permanent Homes, and today we're going to be talking about a very taboo topic for the real estate world, or at least the agent world, which is qualifying the neighborhood or inspecting the neighborhood. What I really call this is like qualifying the neighbors. What does that look like? What does that mean? What can you do? What can you not do? And what are the misconceptions? So, stay tuned. If you have not watched our videos before, please hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way, every time we have a new video release, you'll get hit for the next one and you can fill in on our new topic. So, let's jump right in. Alright, let's jump into this. So, inspecting the neighborhood and qualifying the neighbors. Why is this taboo? Why did you say taboo? Alright, it's taboo because as real estate agents and realtors, what happens is we are, according to regulation, we're not allowed to talk about these things. Okay, what I mean by that is we're not allowed to give you our opinions. Okay, but you as the buyer have every right to do your own research. Okay, that is the misconception. It's not that you can't talk about it. It's that the agent can't talk about it. The agent can't tell you their opinions or what they think about it. Okay, that is not the same as you as the buyer doing your own research. So if you have concerns or questions that the agent can't answer, I'm about to tell you what sorts of things you should probably do as a buyer on your own to get the answers to your questions. Alright, so let's start with the first one. What is it I can and can't say? Okay, so I, as a real estate agent, cannot tell you, hey, is this a very diverse neighborhood? I don't know. That's going to be my answer every time. Look around. You tell me. What does that even mean? So, I can't tell you that. Are these great schools? I can't tell you that. Whether I know or I don't know. Are these really good neighbors? I can't tell you that. I don't know. Is this a good side of town? I can't tell you that. Okay? You can understand, these aren't necessarily bad questions. These are questions that I'm telling you by regulation. I, as a realtor and a real estate agent, cannot answer for you by regulation. So you have to understand that I understand you having the question, but you need to do your own research in order to be able to get the answers you really want. And number one is that's really because people have their own opinions, and I'm not really, I can't give you my opinion, because that's exactly that, is my opinion. And that starts to lead to crazy things like steering and all kinds of stuff like that we don't want to get into. Okay, so that's where the line sits, alright? What can I tell you? I can tell you facts. I can give you facts. I cannot give you opinions. I can give you the square footage of a home. I can tell you what year the roof was replaced. I can tell you, when they mowed the grass last. I can speak to facts. Okay, I can tell you what the price is. I can tell you if I've been able to get answers from the other agent on whether there's offers on the table and if they're nice and they tell me how many. I can tell you those things if I can get those answers for you. But I can't give you opinions about the neighborhood. I can't give you opinions on that side of town. I can't give you opinions on whether the neighbors are nice or not, or whether they're good people. I can't tell you that. And so what do you do to answer some of the questions that you have about these things? So let's go into the bullet point answers on these. Number one, on what kind of neighborhood is this and what kind of families are here? One of the big questions that I get people that ask a lot and I can't really answer is this a family-friendly neighborhood? Okay, you can find that out. I can't tell you that. I don't know. You can easily find that out. And the way you find that out is drive the neighborhood two different times. Number one is going to be during school pickup in the mornings. Get a good feeling for how many kids are riding the bus, how many kids are headed to school during that time. But most importantly, the drop-off in the afternoon. That's the time where you can really get a good feeling for how many families are in the neighborhood and how many kids live in the neighborhood. So that'll be a big help. So you can kind of get an idea on, okay, cool. Well, where do the families, kind of reside within the neighborhood, or on this side of the neighborhood, this side? because sometimes you have really big neighborhoods of, well over 1,000 homes. Well, not all the parts of the neighborhood are the same. So I've seen some that are 55 and older sections of the neighborhood, and others where it's like, oh, okay, all the families are over here. And just don't get creepy with it, okay? And what I mean by that, don't follow a kid to their house in order to know where all the families live. Just keep an eye on, how many kids come out of the bus, right? And because sometimes if it's a really big neighborhood, there might be several bus stops in the neighborhood. And so that's the first thing you should probably do in order to answer questions like that. What kind of neighborhood is this? Is this a quiet neighborhood? Are there a bunch of young families, older families? I think the best way, in my opinion, to really get that answer for yourself is going to be for you to actually, if you can, check out the neighborhood and drive through it on Friday afternoon and evening and on Saturday, on the weekends, right? And so that'll kind of give you a feeling for what do they do? What kind of activities does the neighborhood are involved in the neighborhood? So you can get a good feeling for traffic flow, activity in the neighborhood. Are there a bunch of parties on the weekends? Well, I can't answer that for you, but you can easily find out by doing that. Sometimes you might have questions like, hey, are there a lot of good Christian people in this neighborhood? I don't know. Drive the neighborhood on a Sunday and find out how many people pull out at 9 o'clock. There are ways that you can figure this out. So you have to do your own research when it comes to this. So, next step. I advise this. There's not really a particular question that comes up during this, but I would always advise this of you as a buyer. Always, always, always check the sex offender registry for anywhere you're about to buy. Okay? You don't want to find out something like this after the fact. So, if you're interested in a neighborhood, interested in a particular home, there are registries online. They're free. Plug in the address if that's a concern to you, which for most people with families, that's a concern. You want to make sure that you know those kind of things. I can't tell you as an agent, so you need to find these things out on your own. Go to the sex registry website, type in the address, and there'll be a map that pulls up that tells you if there are registered sex offenders in the neighborhood. And that'll give you a good insight on what answers you probably want on that question. Number 4 is going to be, is this are there a lot of crimes that happen around here? I can't answer that for you, but you can get the answers to this. There's 2 ways. Number 1 is there are websites, free websites online, where you can find out how many crimes were reported within certain addresses or certain areas. That's the first way. But number 2 is the better way. I prefer this way if you're going to do it. Call the police, the local police in that area, and ask them directly. They will tell you the truth. Okay? And they're allowed to do that. So, call the police department and ask them, hey, listen, I'm thinking about moving into this neighborhood. What do you think? Do you guys get called out there very often, and what for if so? And that'll give you the 100% answer for you. Number 5 is going to be, are the neighbors good? I can tell you this seems like a weird thing to do. I promise you it's not. Knock on the neighbors' doors and introduce yourself to them. But before you've even submitted an offer on the home, just go ahead and do that while you're seeing the house. I promise you, if you do this, you're not going to regret it, because let's be honest, if you know that your neighbor's selling the house, you want to know what people are interested in buying it anyway. And so they're going to welcome that in most cases. So knock on the door, introduce yourself to the neighbors, and just ask them, hey, do you like the neighborhood? How long have you guys lived here? I'm interested in the home, across the street or next door. And a lot of times it's ended up in great conversations about questions you should probably ask, or you didn't even think to ask. Like, can I build a pool in this backyard? Have you tried? Guess what? That'll give you a better answer than even I could give you. The last question I get a lot as an agent that you really need to watch out for is going to be, hey, are the schools here? Are they good? I can't tell you that. I don't know. And even if I did, I can't tell you. Here's what you need to do, okay? You need to check the schools for the address that you're thinking about buying. Notice, I did not say school system. I said schools. That is not the same thing. So, there are sometimes neighborhoods that are divided on what schools they go to according to what address is or what parts of the neighborhood you're in. So you need to understand the differences. So pull up the elementary school, middle school, and high school for the address and what schools are designated to that address for those on the public school system website. There's like three or four different websites you can use for this, and then check their rating, check what people have said about them, and then at that point go online. You can go to Facebook pages and ask the community, hey, what do you guys think about these schools, pros and cons, and just see what people say, and go off of that. Please don't ever judge school system questions on the actual school system as a whole. That's not a very good way to go. A lot of times, especially when you get into higher populated areas, you have so many different high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools that it is impossible to judge a neighborhood based on the entire school system. You need to really base it on the specific schools that are designated to that address. And that'll give you your answers. Plain and simple. So I hope this has been a big help, because I get these questions all the time and I can't answer them. So that is your answer there. So give us a call if you have any questions about what other questions you probably ask, or if you're interested in buying or selling real estate in the state of Georgia, please give us a call, 770-314-1285, or check out our website at www.georgiaperimeterhomes.com. Thanks. Bye.